MVP is not about the look and feel, the packaging.
Spending the money on the wrong places while building the MVP.
There's a feeling, no? So software is the cheapest thing, anybody can do that.
Yeah.
Especially in today's world, everybody thinks that cloud AI or maybe Grok or Manus or maybe ChatGPT can build them applications. Feasibly, it's not feasible.
But what's the specific area where founders, mostly spend more money?
That rejection is a big fear in the human psychology. Even the salespeople, the founders, everybody, they fear rejection.
So you are saying that the founders often tend to spend money on wrong features while building the MVP.
Always understand, there's a feeling in this industry that founders are the big bosses, they know everything, and the development team are just vendors, they don't know anything. The cheapest guys to get in the rule is the development team or the developers. It's not that.
Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. Again, we are back.
Yes.
Helping the founders make sure they don't go dead or they don't kill their startup pretty early in the stages of their growth.
Yeah.
This is what's been happening, and we have been seeing a good percentage of founders unfortunately not able to scale or get validated with more customers, and they end up their runway pretty faster.
Yes. So you might have seen many founders stuck in their funding and spending the money on the wrong places while building the MVP. So it makes me wonder, why does the founders feel this as most confusing thing, like while handling the budget during the MVP phase?
Exactly. This is one of the reasons I also was stuck at many times not knowing where it goes wrong. Finally, what I feel is, what I've tried to find out over a period of multiple founders is they have a top level budget and they have not tried to break that down into smaller parts, especially for the build of the MVP and the teams. And what they normally try to do is, a top level budget looks like a big amount and they try to skews out that 20%, 30%, 50% also at times, just seeing at the amount. They forget that there are a lot of underlying things that needs to happen and should not be compromised. But what happens is, when you start squeezing on the budgets, the parts that's not visible outside, that's not on the front end, gets disconnected and gets chopped out. And this is where they've come to a situation where they have something done up, something that works with them, but technically or literally there are not much users, and the users who came in the initial rush didn't hang on.
Yeah.
This is what happens.
So that's a great, I will say most expensive mistake the founders use.
Exactly. There's a feeling, no? So software is the cheapest thing, anybody can do that.
Yeah.
Especially in today's world, everybody thinks that cloud AI or maybe Grok or Manus or maybe ChatGPT can build them applications. Feasibly, it's not feasible, because a human brain is always a human brain. A brain of human team is always a team. Even if you have agents, they have their limitations, and it may continue for a year or two, or it may grow beyond that. But we are not sure where it's going to take you.
Yeah.
Because every founder is trying to build something unique. And if you are trying to build anything unique, you need a human brain, human thinking, human logic, human analytics. This is what's going to work. Whereas any artificial intelligence works on the concept of picking up what is available with them, the trained data, what is available, and trying to rebuild over that in different styles. So it will always have its limitations, unless, as we see in the sci-fi movies or science fiction movies, where the AI automatically generates and grows its own brain. It starts rebuilding itself.
Yeah.
It's the most dangerous situation. In case it comes also, then the human beings in this world are in danger.
Yeah. Maybe in the future.
It shouldn't come, then we are trying to get into a situation where we are losing our lives. They become God and we become maybe their slaves.
Let's get specific. From everything what we have seen, what's the specific area where founders, mostly spend more money?
They spend more money in the front end of any application. And if you say more money, yes, from their perspective, it's more money. But technically, what they do is they see money as not as a strategy, but they see these expenses as how long they can last with this money. Technically, they don't think what is the impact this expense is going to bring on their whole concept of a startup. If they were to save money, they could have put in bank and set it up there. But they are looking at sending and growing over that. Then they need to have a strategy where this money is going to get them the maximum impact and thereby the maximum returns on that. It's not that you cut short money to go cheap and go for a longer runway, but in reality your runway may be long, but it's very narrow. The bigger bodied aircraft cannot land on that. Only small body, small flyers or drones can land on that. And you are not looking at creating drones, you are looking at having a bigger body aircraft. We can generate you more money, more customers, and more visibility in this world. So that is where almost a good percentage of startup founders fail. It's not their fault. They never had any sessions, any training sessions, any mentorship, any of the founding experts with people who have been working with founders for long like us. I've been doing this for 15 years now, working with different founders across generations now, you can say. 15 years is a generation for the IT and technology industry. And unless you talk to them, you have mentorship with them, you have one-to-one discussions, you will not understand the nuances that needs to go in developing a new company or new firm or new startup. There are a lot of things that needs to be taken care. It's not that just you have $50,000 or $20,000 and you tomorrow think that I'm going to start up new. $20,000 cannot even get you a good car. How do you are even dreaming of creating a company that can give you 50 million or 60 million or $100 million of turnover with this 20,000? Unless you invest, you are not going to get it back. That's a fact of life. Yes, that investment can be cut. The only way is, that's what we say, the founders should start generating and building and launching MVPs and not the full scale thing. This MVP is the only way to cut. But below MVPs, if you start cutting below the deep roots, then you are gone. The depth should always be there, only the size can be cut. It cannot be wider. Yes, you can make it narrower and smaller, but the depth has to be there. Then only it's going to get successful for you. Unless you have depth in your MVP, unless you know actually what is going to solve the purpose, for whom it is going to solve the purpose, and is that guy who is going to use it give you money for solving his pain. If these are not clear, then any amount of cutting of money you do is not going to do any work for you. It's just like you have gone on a vacation and spend the money and come back. Along with that 6 months you spend for doing it.
Yeah, so better not make that mistake.
It's a great mistake, a grave mistake that many founders have lost everything. They have lost their time, maybe 6 months to 1 year, expecting things will work. Expectation is not a strategy. Or as we say, hope is not a strategy. You cannot hope and say it will work. You have to work out. You have to find solutions for that. You need to put your fingers in the pie, else it will not work out. You cannot eat a burger with a fork. Let's understand that.
So you are saying that the founders often tend to spend money on wrong features while building the MVP. So it makes me wonder, why does building more feels like making progress when often it isn't?
Exactly. So it's not about building more features, it's about building the bells and whistles and not building the core value. Because you are trying to solve one major pain of a customer or B customer, and that is what the product is. And if that pain can be solved, then it's workable. If it doesn't solve, howsoever bells and whistles is there, it's not workable. So it's people have a feeling that we are working more, we are building more, we are doing that, this. It looks good for a demo that we have this, we have that also, this also. It looks good, the demo, but does it really solve the problem of the customer? You don't know. Because you have never spoken to a customer on what his real problem is and what is really expecting us to give him. And the same way, if we are paying for what he is giving him, then he's the right customer. If he's not ready to pay, then it looks like the problem that you're solving is either not a real problem, or that problem is so small the customer can continue with that without spending money.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense, no?
Yeah.
Because if the problem is not so big, it comes to you once a month for maybe 2 hours or 3 hours, you would rather continue with him rather than paying monthly subscription for solving something like this.
Yeah. That won't be your regular customers, no?
They won't take. Why do you take? Yes, you go and ask him, looks good. Yeah, he will give you a lot of feedback saying, look, ask him for payment, he will say, let me think over. Now, what do you want? Do you want a paying customer? Do you want someone to just register and play around with you, giving you lots and lots of feedback? And this has been my experience multiple times. Going to people who don't pay you and asking feedback is like putting yourself in fire. They are going to give you so many feedbacks that you finally get frustrated and depressed that you don't have anything of that. And with all this effort, money, the runway, when you launch this, you find that this is not what people wanted. They are not ready to use it. Some Tom, Dick and Harry gave you feedbacks and you started working on that.
Validation is always very important.
It is very important. The founders should have a strategy of at least spending an hour a day talking to a customer that is his ICP. That is what will bring him closer to customers, will make him understand what they need, which will give you better results than even conducting a survey, online survey on maybe 2,000, 3,000 people. This will give you real results. So they have to be in touch with the ground. There is a saying, like if you are touching the ground and being on the grounded level, you know more than what you can by being a senior level guy who just works on Excels and analytics. These are the real analytics.
One of the areas founders love to spend money is on designs.
Yes.
I have often seen that.
Yeah.
Making it look beautiful, polished and premium. So is there a trap at the MVP stage?
It's a full-fledged trap because you don't need a beautiful designer to design, paint, put the upholstery on a car when it's in the development stage. You need a proper engine in the back end which can be started and it can run on the road and perform. By clarifying or understanding the real motive of the founder. That's to reduce or mitigate the pain of that particular customer. Now what happens, this feeling of color changes, button changes, font changes, rearrangement of things is so seducting and also so much of intoxicating. No? It feels like you are totally into that and it also strains you out. This effort strains you physically and mentally, strains you out and you feel you are working.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, anybody who walks by gives you a feedback on that. Your parents, your girlfriend, you're someone on the street, you go to a tea shop, have a cup of coffee, he will give you a feedback on the colors and layout. He doesn't know anything of that. And you come back and start implementing this. This is the time wasted on the wrong thing, wherein the actual functionality is never thought of. They spend time on this, they spend money on this, lot of effort, lot of feeling of work effort done. But when you, at the end of the day, when you don't find it really functioning to what is needed, the frustrations grow very fast because of all this effort you have put into the design only. That's not needed now. MVP is not about the look and feel, the packaging. MVP is about mitigating the pain, whether it is helpful for a customer and if the customer really wants it and is ready to pay for it. These three questions, if answered, you have the right product. Once that happens, then you can go on doing everything, polishing, updating, bells, whistles, everything can happen. Because at that stage, you have paying customers, you have money flowing in, you have investors who are ready to pay. When you have the monthly MRR is there for you. If it's not there, who is ready to pay for your investment? No one is there. That was olden days. You put a plan on a paper and go to investor, he'll pay you. Today, no. Unless this is successful, do you have a number of paying customers? No one wants to put their fingers into it.
So good design is important, but the term good design means different at this stage, right?
It's not good design. At this stage, it's basically if your actual ICP can understand to use that application in 10 seconds without any help, this is the best design.
Okay.
Nothing more than that. If without someone guiding him, he can run this application, make the use of it to his requirement in 10-15 seconds, then you are done, you are successful. The aim, the goal of building this MVP is over.
I hope you guys are taking notes.
They need to take notes because that's the most important part for them. Because I have been working in this for maybe almost 10-15 years now. Down the line, 50 to 60% of my founders who I have been working always got entangled in the design concept. The font, the colors, the shades of colors, the placement of buttons. They were not thinking of user experience. They were thinking of how it looks good at the look and feel. No, it has to be the user experience. That's why there's a difference. There's a UX and UI. So that needs to be taken care of.
So we have talked about the thing most founders overspend on. What about what they underspend on? Like what's the one thing that often gets neglected and which causes more pain later?
Exactly, that's what we have been talking about earlier also. The back end, the biggest, you can say the black hole or the biggest, toughest job in any software development is the back end. If the back end is not properly done, not cleanly coded, not coded in a way that someone else can understand that, then it's really a black hole that you don't know when it stops, when it slows down performance. You find there are bugs in the systems. You find when the load increases, everything slows down. So you don't need enterprise grade infrastructure to build this. In the MVP stage, you just need nice, clean and simple application that runs with the speed needed for the kind of customers and number of customers you are planning for. You just don't need to over-engineer it, but you need to engineer it. You should not be under-engineering it. This is what normally happens. We find people doing that. People spending more on the front end because that's what is visible. The back end is never visible. No one knows. No one opens the bonnet of the car and see what's inside. Whether it's clean, even no one sees. But the real drivers, they clean the inside of the engine first. Then they look at the upholstery on the seat. They don't mind if it's a bit dirty, but the engine should be, body rank should be clean and everything, well oiled, well greased kind of thing. Same way, your backend has to be great. Unless it's not great, the whole thing is not going to work for you.
Okay, so how does a non-technical founder know that his foundation is strong or clean?
The only way to know this, you need to ask the right questions to the teams and not underpay the teams for that. Get the right partner teams with you, not freelancers, because you don't know anything of that. Get partners who understand your business logic, the business problems that's going to solve. They understand your ICP and then they build over that. That's the best way. The best question you can ask is, can someone else understand this? And if the current team says, yes, a new team or new guy can understand this code in 1 or 2 days, then you're on the right track.
Okay.
If he says that I would need to make him understand, then there is some problem, there's a risk you need to take, unless the application is so complicated, but then there is a risk. Also understand you need to spend money for documentation purposes, you need to spend money for the diagrams, you need to spend money for all these things. These things don't come for free. The free lunch was a concept that was 5 decades back. Nowadays there is nothing free lunch. For any small thing you do, you have to pay. If it doesn't pay, he needs to cut corners because he has to keep the bread on his table. You can't stop that.
Yes.
So that's the way we should understand. People have a tendency of saying that this is free, nothing is free.
Yeah.
If it is free, then you are the product. If anyone tells you this is not only in founding, not only in startups, anywhere someone comes and tells you this is free for you, then understand you are the product for them. They are trying to utilize you as a product. That's why they're giving you service free.
That's a great advice. So founders should be careful while selecting their technical team, right?
Exactly, that's the most important part. People don't understand that, they take it lighter vein. The most important is the development and the technical team. The second more important is the GTM for you. Unless you don't know who to sell to, how to sell to, what is the methodology you're going to use, you are not going to be successful. These are most important things. With the remaining everything is delegatable, someone else can take care, but these departments you need to keep under your wings. You can't give it to anybody else. That's the only way out. It's like something you think about a house you either rented or owned. You always had problems, either the plumbing had a problem or the electricals had a problem or the walls broke off in between. It was always an issue. Just because it was not properly planned, properly architected, and the foundations while doing it were not done right. This is what happens in software also, this is what happens in the startups also. So you always have problems, not major at times, and at times it breaks down, but it's always a hindrance, always an issue with your customers, they feel bad on that. And this condition, if keeps on running for time, the customers feel frustrated, they find other options. You had done that when you had rented house. You either found out an option or found out a builder who could rework the whole thing.
Here's a debate I hear a lot right now. With the new AI tools and no-code platforms, should founders invest in people or more in AI tools?
That's the best question. See, any tool amplifies what you put in that. It's not a self-thinking, logical building kind of environment any tool has. It will just amplify what you can put it.
Yeah.
If you have 50 tools also, if what input goes to this is not clean and nice, it is a saying, no, garbage in is big garbage outside, like a ton load of garbage. So same way, it's more on the team that you have that depends the output of the total output of the product. A weaker team with a bigger load of tools will give you always garbage. But a good team with a smaller number of tools will give better output than that. That's just because what goes in needs to be controlled, and that controlling can happen only if the human brains, human hands are there at the other end of the pipe.
Okay, so what does a good team for MVP, for a startup at MVP stage looks like?
MVP stage, it should be a 3 to 4 member maximum, unless it's a complicated bigger thing, and the time frame of maybe 4 to 6 weeks or 8 weeks maximum, and that's when the MVP should stop actually, and it should go live for validation. If it doesn't, it expands to 6 months, then you are not developing an MVP, you are developing a SaaS product.
Okay.
And that's the biggest risk you are taking, because you are not validated that with the customers. Unless it is validated, you really don't know whether this is successful. People want it or people need something. I have seen examples wherein a product was built for a particular use case, but when people started using it, they were happy using it for some other use case, which this guy never thought of.
Okay.
So we had to remodify that application to the new use case. That was the reason. That's the reason we tell that talk to customers early stage, so you understand them, else this is what happens.
Yeah.
You build for driving and you find that they are using it for flying.
So the line between an MVP and a SaaS product is very thin. Make sure that you don't cross that. Right?
Line is thin, but the timelines are very big. If the day you start crossing the timelines of more than 6 to 8 weeks, then you should be serious about it, that you are really crossing the timelines and doing things that are not real core components and are just bells and whistles.
So one area that founders almost never budget in is validation for experiments, running, talking to the actual users. Why does it often get ignored?
Because that's a most bitter thing in any product development. You won't hear things that you would have liked to hear. You would hear things that's not soothing to your ears. It may at times break your belief that this MVP is right. It may at times even break your belief that the whole ideation is wrong.
Okay.
And that's like killing the whole project. So to avoid killing that project and that emotional attachment towards it, we delay the time lag of talking to customers. It's the cheapest thing. You need not spend much money on that. You speak to 5 or 10 customers, you may at times see the product roadmap also changes. And that could easily save you $20,000, $30,000 with no expenses other than your honesty, your sincerity, your time, effort to sit and talk to people and listen to them. The most important, listening to them. They will tell you, they will give you signals. Keep notes of the signals.
Okay.
And why spend money on that? But that will help you not drain money, for sure. That's a guarantee.
Okay. So why does founders just keep missing this major part?
The emotional feel that in case someone rejects, that rejection is a big fear in the human psychology. Even the salespeople, the founders, everybody, they fear rejection. And to avoid that rejection to come, they know it will come to you today or tomorrow after maybe 6 months. But to delay that is the best thing everybody likes to do.
Okay, so that's the reason.
Exactly. That's what we also do in our life. We procrastinate things.
Yeah.
Just because the rejection.
Yeah. So you have worked with a lot of founders. Is there one story where money spent wrong you still think about?
Sure. Let me rack up something. Yeah, a guy who had been working with me for maybe 5 or 6 years back. I won't put his name here, let's name him X. He was working in a corporate at the senior VP level and had saved around $50,000 to $70,000 for building something. He worked in a place which he didn't like, but he was doing that to save something so that he could build his own startup. His idea was awesome. And it was a great insight he had for the problem, and solving that was great. He started building it up. He hired a great team, premium UX guys, premium UI guys, and the photo shoots, video shoots for the website pages, and then the application with a lot of bells and whistles, everything built up. By the end of 5 months, he found that he has spent more than 50,000 of the 70 he had earned balance. Okay. He had almost very less money for the marketing, GTM, and also had functionalities that need to finish before he goes live. Now, at the end of the day, when he went live after $10,000 more, he found that people trickled in slowly and they left. He told me at that stage, if I would have spent money on the real thing, I would have survived. Yes, if he would have spent money on the real MVP and not on all these things, he had brochures, marketing materials, everything done up, brochures and things, he would have saved money and also known that this is the wrong roadmap early on to rebuild it again. Now he came to a stage where he didn't have the runway to rebuild the whole thing again. He had to go back to his job and rework again. This is the scenarios that I found very sad to see. But unfortunately, the brutality and the frustration of the business owners or founders who think that they have already built a full company with customers and they start building the peripherals over that with that anticipation in mind, like if they are already working in somewhere. It's not that they left that place. That was the established place. Those consequences, those scenarios, those strategies won't work here. This you are starting from scratch. That we need to understand. That you need to cut break when you leave out the company and come back to starting on. You have to cut it break there. People don't do that. That's why they suffer.
Yeah, that's indeed a painful story.
It's a real painful story. I had a very great sympathy for that guy. Unfortunately, couldn't help him at the end of because everything, the total roadmap was out of sync.
Yeah.
If it was a small change, we could have done it for him, but it was totally out of sync. That's the reason I always tell, let the technical partners play their role. Let them come and tell you something is wrong, something doesn't work, something should not work. Let them tell you, try accepting it. Don't be a founder saying that I know everything. So this is what happens in these scenarios.
No one is a know-it-all, so you should take advices from the right people.
Exactly. So always understand there is a feeling in this industry that founders are the big bosses, they know everything, and the development team are just vendors, they don't know anything. So the cheapest guys to get in the rule is the development team or the developers. It's not that. The developers are the brain of your company. They can make or break your company very easily without you knowing that. So pay them well, get their responses, give them respect, they will give the right feedback to you. They know how it happens because they have seen multiple founders, multiple business models, multiple categories. They know it.
Yeah.
Whereas you are just one in the new now. You don't know it.
Okay, sir. So we have got a question from one of our listeners.
Okay, nice.
She's Priya. So Priya is building a B2C app for women's health in Tier 2 cities.
Oh, Tier 2 cities.
Yeah.
Great.
She writes, I have 8 lakhs saved and I don't know how to split it. My developer is pushing for a full featured build. My designer wants to spend 2 lakhs on the brand identity. I feel pulled in every direction. Where do I start?
A good question. Priya, first thing to understand is your designer and development team is not looking at your problem, they are looking at their own problem, and that's normal. You need to understand that what needs to be built now. Number one is you are trying to solve something for women, especially in a Tier 2 city where the culture of women are different. It's not that everybody goes for a job. Even if they go, there's a different level of job they are doing. What I did suggest you is, you should go and speak to 20 of your ICP customers, the exact women or the exact ladies who are going to purchase and use your product with money.
Yes.
And do they have the funds to pay you for that?
Yeah.
What you're building for them. If once you get that, then you build the real MVP for them. That the product can solve their problem that you're looking at solving and finalize that problem after talking to them. Once you do that, build it. Branding is secondary. Because once you have a set of customers of your ICP, then expanding that ICP is easier within that area, within that circle. Once that is tried and tested in one area, then you expand to other areas. Then you need branding and things. Not at this stage. I hope you will be successful if you do that. Let us know once you are ready to launch with the MVP. And anytime you get stuck somewhere, feel free to connect with us. We will support you there.
Yeah, so Priya, I hope the direction is clear right now.
We always like to support startups. That's the reason we are building a mentorship program for startups now. Next week we are going to put it online for you on the social media. People who have proper ideation done, proper MVP concepts build up, budgeted for their total runway, they can connect on that, submit their request. We will have 2-3 sessions together, analyze each one of them, talk to each one of them, and then pick up the best 5 who we assure you can generate $1 million in around 15 to 18 months. That's what we guarantee you. What we need from you is your commitment on your documentation and your commitment that you are going to put your 110% for the next 18 months into your project.
Yes.
This is what you are going to do. We want people who are successful.
Okay, sir, let's move on to our rapid fire session.
Okay?
Okay. So let us know the first honest thing that comes to your mind. Ready?
Sure.
Okay. Budget runs out. First thing you cut.
Marketing?
Okay. 5 lakh MVP budget split in 10 seconds.
5 lakh MVP. 60% for core development, 5% for designs, 20% for strategy and planning, and 15% for quality assurance and testing.
Okay. Founder hires a designer before a developer.
A classic example of Bloom dying. Classic example of how the death of a founder happens.
Okay. Most underestimated MVP cost.
The reworks,
Okay.
that's the most underestimated.
One tool every founder needs.
Their own phone. Pick up the phone and call your customers, talk to them. They know exactly what they want you to build. They will tell you.
Ads at MVP stage, yes or no?
No, no way.
Okay, so it's a complete no for ads.
Absolutely no.
So today's episode was all about money. Money, we make it complicated, we make it emotional. But today's session reminds me that it's not about how much you have, it's about how you choose to believe in yourself and how you choose to spend it wisely. Maybe you are in between the stages, and so stages of your MVP development or validation. So make sure that you choose to spend the money wisely on the right place. If today's episode hit somewhere, make sure that share it with someone who needs to hear this today before making the wrong decision. So until next episode, keep building something that lasts.
It was a great session talking to you. Yeah, most of the founders get stuck at places where they don't ask the right questions, like Priya had asked in the beginning stages, and these right questions get answers for you. You know how to plan, how to strategize, how to lay down your budgets broken into pieces so that the right budget is allocated and the wrong budgets are not cut short at the wrong places. So make sure you take care of your budgets, you take care of your backends of the application. Make sure you create only the MVP, and also one thing to remember, always talk to your customers beforehand, which will give you the correct idea of what you should be building, and they will tell you what they want. Keep this in mind while your founder journey continues. Yes, it's a tough journey. It is not what you thought of while sitting in an office working for somebody else. Yes, you have the freedom, the flexibility, the emotional feeling, everything is there, but still it's tough journey. Take care of that. Make sure you build it premium, and it's only premium that sells, because any economy breakdown happens, the premium companies don't stop. The premium selling never stops. Only the mid and lower level stops. Understand that, make it premium, sell it, earn money. And in case you feel you need support, you need advice, you can always get in touch. The links to my website are there below. Connect with me, we can have a chat, we can join up together if needed, supporting you in technology. We are also launching a mentorship program wherein I will be taking in five companies or startups with pre-qualified details and excellent quality. We will be helping them grow to a $1 million turnover in 15 to 18 months. That's our promise. And what we need from them is they should be dedicated, committed, and should be ready to do whatever is needed to make this successful. And we will make sure these 5 companies grow into $1 million companies, and that's our resolute for them. And I'll be filtering out the candidates as we get. We are getting a lot of responses, applications. We'll be filtering out over a period of 2 or 3 sessions, and then we will talk to each other before we select the final 5. So be in touch and share this to someone like you who got stuck at times. They may also like to go through this. It will be helpful for them. Rather than spending their whole runway, they could stop halfway and look back and see what went wrong and what could be corrected. Thank you, and have a great time ahead. All the best wishes for the great founder life and founders excellent environment. Bye.